Hey guys, I'm back here, DIY and today I'm gonna show you how to make a mini UPS for your wireless router in less than a minute. Sure, there are different ways on how to make your mini UPS. You can simply buy an actual UPS, an interrupted power supply, and then connect it to your wireless router right here. And once there's a power interruption, your UPS kicks in and you have continuous power. The other thing you can do if you are tech savvy is to assemble something like this. It's a battery configured in series configuration, and using a battery management system you can safely charge your batteries, which will then provide power to your router depending on the type of voltage that it requires. In this case, this is actually requiring a power of 12 volts DC. So this battery can be configured like in 3 series configuration and connected to this. And during a time when there's a power interruption, your battery will be able to sustain and continuously providing power to your router, and thus making it as a mini UPS. But that's for tech savvy. But I got a question recently from one of my friends, and he's not a tech savvy, and he's not that kind of really familiar with doing this interconnection kind of thing. So he asked me, is there a quick way on how to make a mini UPS to be able to provide power to my wireless router? Because according to him, just recently they have a typhoon in their place, and it causes some power interruption, and eventually they lose internet connections as well. So it ran for a couple of hours or maybe days in some cases. So we have to have some backup power. So I thought, yeah, why not share with you guys a quick way on how to make a mini UPS in less than a minute. Okay, before we start with our timer, let me just run through you real quick here on the things or components that we need to make use for our mini UPS. The first thing you want to do is to make sure that you have an old USB cable. We should not care whether it's a micro USB or a Type C. All we need to do is to make use of this USB connector here on this end. Okay, and apart from that, we need to have this input DC jack male socket plug. Okay, because this one will go through to the back of our router right here. Okay, so we need to have one of these, and of course the main component right here is a power bank. So you might probably say, power bank, that's just 5 volts, right? And here is 12 volts. Well, actually, you might not realize it, but it should work. And to me, it's safe because we're not putting too much voltage. This is actually considered as under voltage. 5 volts supplying to a 12 volt device is still okay as long as it can provide power, versus providing, let's say, 24 volts to a 12 volt device, which can eventually damage the circuitry. So yeah, with all these components and some tools like a screwdriver or and a wire stripper right here. If you don't have a wire stripper, you can simply use a scissor or a cutter, and that's something handy. You can scramble it anytime to do this. All right, so now let's start with our 1 minute challenge. Okay, the first thing I want to do here is to cut the USB on this part right here. Okay, take out that one, and then I'll just take this part where I have my USB port. And then the next thing I want to do is strip this up at least an inch or from the other end. Okay, strip it carefully, and once you take out that part, you will realize there are a bunch of wires here, right? To me, I shouldn't worry about the other ones. I'm just concerned about getting the red and the black. The black right here, I'm gonna strip this up a little bit. Okay, so it will have an exposed portion right here, and black is actually our negative, and the red right here, likewise, we need to strip it up, and there you go, and red is our positive. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to connect it to my input jack. Okay, using a screwdriver and looking on the polarity, you can see there's a polarity positive, plus sign, negative, which is minus sign. So red is the positive. I'm just gonna insert it to my positive terminal right here. Just put it here, make it more easier. And again, this should be less than a minute to configure. So I got here, screw this up. Okay, And then take the other one right here, screw it up on the negative side or negative terminal for the black one, and make sure that you securely fasten all the screw. So there you have it. In less than a minute, you are good to go. The next thing you want to do is test it out. So connect this USB port to your USB power bank, okay? And then the other one should go to the back of your router. And keep in mind here that the moment we connect our connector, which is a customized cable in a way, you would see there that there should be a power right here. You can see that our router, it's a TP-Link 12 volts router, is actually lighted on. You can see the LEDs, they are now back on running. So the next thing you want to do is just to test it out, you know, and making sure that you can get the wireless connection right off to this wireless router. Now you might probably say, all right, so we know that you know, the power bank powers the wireless router, but how does it work as a UPS? You know, UPS is an uninterrupted power supply, right? So depending on the type of your power bank, there are some power banks that are known to be a pass-through charging feature, which means that you can charge the power bank and it can continuously provide load or power as well. So this one is one of those, a pass-through charging. So what I'll do is, again, I'm gonna take this out first, okay? As I take out the USB port, our router LEDs obviously will go down as well. So now what I would like to show you now is to charge my power bank, okay? And once I charge my power bank, okay, you can see that the LED is now charging, which is blinking, which is now charging my power bank. So now what I will do here is, this time I'm gonna connect back my USB, which is connected to my wireless router. And there you go, the wireless router is back on running again. Okay, so now let's try to simulate how a power interruption happens right here, and our connection shouldn't be affected by that power interruption. So let's say there's a power interruption, or there's a blackout. Okay, so I'm gonna take out this charging port cable. Okay, as I turn that off, you can see that my power bank is continuously providing power to my wireless router. So that will happen in cases where there's a power interruption, you know, caused by storm or anything like that. You should still be able to continue surfing the net. And with less than a minute configuration, using a power bank connected to your wireless router at 12 volts, which is most cases should work, okay? I have tried this to a bunch of different other wireless router and it works. And you might probably say, oh, if there's a power if there's a power failure, are the telcos running? Most of the time they should be running, because our telcos, they have a backup generators. So even if there's a power shutdown or a power interruption, a blackout, they are still running. So we just need to provide power to our router so that we can continuously, in this case, surf the internet. So yeah, so there you have it. Less than a minute, you know, mini UPS using a power bank with a customized cable providing power to your wireless router. So there you have it, guys. Take care and stay safe.